Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for spending a little bit of time out of your day or your evening with me. So, I'd also like to say thank you, as always, to all my subscribers, everyone who's liked my videos. Special thanks to my members. And of course, tonight is Carry On Chatting Members Live. So we'll be talking about a few different things on that. So I'm looking forward to that. As always, it's the best day of the week. Tuesday night with the Carry On Chatting members. Now, also just want to thank anyone who has bought me a Ko-fi, sent me a super sticker, PayPal me, etc. Any way you've supported my channel, thank you so much. Now, in this video, gosh, I've really had my interest reignited in this case of Sebastian Rogers after the FBI have offered this massive reward of $50,000. I mean, they've gone literally from no reward, nothing, from saying nothing. Suddenly, they're offering $50,000 reward for information leading to finding out what happened to this young 15-year-old autistic lad. Now, the only reason, it's not that I lost interest in the case because I don't care about Sebastian. I lost interest in the case because it was getting too dramatic. It was just all gossip, all, you know, the biological dad, Seth, and his biological mum, Katie, and her new partner, all the arguments between them, phony Tony Matthews. You know, it just was getting, for me, impossible to cover because I don't like all that sort of gossip type thing. You know, I like to talk about things that are real, that are official, and not just he said, she said, etc. So this has reignited, you know, I feel like it's a massive development. I really do. I hope it means that Sebastian will be found soon, and I hope it means he'll be found safe and well. But what's really sort of, look at the phrasing. Let's have a look at the FBI, because he's been put out as one of the most wanted. Obviously, he's not most wanted because of something he's done wrong, but he's most wanted, you know, as in most want to find him. And he's said to have been, kidnapped or missing. Missing person, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Now, the interesting thing is, February the 26th, 2024. Well, according to the timeline that we're going to go through in a moment, Katie last saw Sebastian, his mum last saw him on the Sunday, which was February the 25th. So why are they saying he was last? They actually do say somewhere he was last seen. There, yeah. The FBI offers a reward of up to $50,000 for info leading to the whereabouts of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, a boy with medical conditions including autism, who was last seen on February the 26th, 2024 in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Well, February the 26th is the Monday. So how was he last seen on the Monday? When Katie supposedly saw him when he went to bed on the Sunday. I mean, am I imagining that? What do you all think of that? I just say hello to, hi David, hi Daniel, hi Chumba. Don't you think that's strange that the FBI is saying he was last seen on the Monday? Where was he last seen and who last saw him? So this is very intriguing. Now, you know, it's been apparent for a while probably that the FBI do know a bit more about this whole thing and are not, releasing much information. And this is, this massive development. I just want to say hello to people that are watching at home, not participating in the chat. That's fine. Hi to you. And also hi to replay crew, because I know there'll be a lot of people will watch this later. Now, let's have a look at the timeline. I mean, this is just, I've been thinking about it a lot because, it's just strange. How is the timeline that he was last seen by his mum on the Sunday, but the FBI are saying he was last seen on the Monday? So what other information do they have? Maybe it is nothing to do with Katie and Chris. I've never really thought it was, but, that is obviously Katie was the last person seen. She's like the prime suspect, because that's how it always happens. So a timeline. This is from News Nation, a timeline of the Tennessee teen's disappearance. Last seen by his mother in February 2024. Disappearance prompted massive search, but tips have yielded no results. And authorities say there is currently no evidence of criminal activity. Now, this was updated on the 26th of August. So, let's have a look at the timeline. Now, don't forget, this is according to News Nation. So they probably don't know they definitely won't know what the FBI know. So February the 25th, 2024, Sebastian Rogers is last seen by his mother, Katie, and stepfather, Chris, before going to bed. Katie describes her son as very smart and not a teen prone to mischief. I remember she said he's not a runner, because, there's been all this thing about, because often autistic children do this eloping, don't they? They run off, and there's been a few cases lately which sadly have ended up in these autistic, younger than Sebastian, children being found deceased, unfortunately. But Katie said she heard a thud from her son's room around 10 p.m. that night and told him to go to sleep. Now, that's it as far as Katie's concerned. That's when she saw him, heard him. And then she says, February the 26th, she went to wake her son up only to find he was not in his bed. After searching the house, she called authorities, but the FBI are saying that he was last seen on the 26th. So who saw him? Who saw him? Or was it CCTV that saw him? Very odd. Anyway, police in Sumner County, Tennessee contacted the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, which issued an endangered child alert that morning. According to the alert, Rogers had been seen earlier that day in Henderson, Tennessee, wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and glasses. Who saw him? Where's this coming from? More than 200 searchers are sent out to search for the missing teen, including K9 units, mounted officers, drones, and helicopters. On February the 27th, the Amber Alert was issued, and this indicates investigators believe an abduction could be involved and the child is in immediate danger. Search efforts continued, with police using the teen's favourite song, Eye of the Tiger, to try and lure him out. They also asked people in the area to check security and doorbell cameras to see if there's any footage. They drained the local pond, remember, that was on February the 29th, but found nothing. And authorities said that while there were multiple tips received from people looking through security footage, they could not confirm any sightings of the teen, and they also said that search dogs had not been able to pick up a scent trail for Sebastian. Oh, then there was this local business owners put this reward up of $3,500 on March the 2nd. But do you remember when Seth talked about that? He said it all it was pledges. It wasn't actually money. That all sort of disintegrated, didn't it? It all disintegrated, that initial reward, and Seth said it wasn't, it was just pledges, not real money that had been put forward. Hi, Mello. So this is very strange, isn't it? Anyway, so initially the police did quite a lot of searching, didn't they? But on March the 4th, they announced that the ground search was being reduced, although they would continue to investigate. And that's when Sebastian's parents also spoke to the media for the first time, amid criticism for not appearing publicly earlier. Then on March the 17th, and I remember this clearly because I thought, oh my God, they think he was hiding in the bin or something, because Sebastian apparently did hide in places. Police searched a landfill in White Plains, Kentucky. Authorities called the search a precaution, noting that it was where trash from Sebastian's neighborhood was taken, and said there was no specific evidence that led to the search. Right, okay, so they said it was just, to search the trash, but not because of any particular reason. I'm just going to have a look at this because this might be something I've not seen yet. This is about Anna Knežević. Yeah, no, I know I've seen all that, so I'm going to turn that on. Okay. So then, on March the 10th, Sebastian Rogers' biological father, Seth, expressed fears that something nefarious had happened, noting that his son wasn't the type to wander. He also said Sebastian Rogers did not like going barefoot after an incident as a child, although reportedly he had no shoes in the description given by the officers. On March the 14th, news outlet WTVF obtained footage from outside the Proudfoot home, which appears to show activity around 3 a.m. the night Sebastian Rogers disappeared, with lights, possibly from flashlights, moving around. Now, they supposedly have said that this was not Sebastian, but I'm thinking, was that when they think he was seen on? Why are they saying he was seen on the 26th? Last seen on the 26th? I don't understand. Anyway, let's just have a little look at this video.
Okay, so now for more on the search for the teen and the concerns about what may have happened to that boy, we're joined by Seth Rogers, Sebastian's father. Seth, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so sorry for everything you're going through. We want to get the word out about Sebastian. Hasn't gotten enough national attention. Sebastian, I want to be clear, was with his mom and stepdad when he disappeared, but you're very close to Sebastian. Do you have any idea what may have happened here?
I haven't been, I don't know. I mean, I got a phone call and a text message that I received after I got off of work stating that I needed to give the stepfather a call. I called him and he was like, Sebastian's missing. Don't be upset or anything, but you need to come to the house. I don't know what happened to him.
Oh.
I haven't seen him in over a month. I've been out here looking for him.
Seth, I mean, what do they think happened? I mean, could he
I mean, it does seem genuinely. I don't think I've seen this interview before. It does seem this was very early on. He seems, genuinely upset, doesn't he?
Really have just walked away like that? It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. His shoes are still by the front door. His switch was there. His phone was in the kitchen.
He said his car, didn't he? His car. I wonder why he said that. I mean, I know he's probably, maybe it's just a slip of the tongue, but that's a strange slip of the tongue, isn't it, to say his car?
It just didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I still can't figure it out. I've been looking everywhere, been handing out flyers, been just trying to keep up hope. And I've reached out to United Cajun Navy to sit there and see if they will help me. And they answered my call.
Yeah, one thing.
Yeah, now that was the United Cajun Navy, wasn't it? That had been in Tennessee anyway, helping to look for Riley Strain. The young man who sort of unfortunately fell in the river, didn't he? In Nashville. And then this Cajun Navy, they went over to help to look for Sebastian, but it all went wrong, didn't it? And there was a big drama with that, and then they withdrew from it. There's been drama with everything in this case, hasn't there? Nothing's sort of just gone to plan.
I couldn't understand is why they were telling people not to search at one point. I mean, the shift went to the landfill. It was this investigation, and they're telling people not to search. I couldn't make sense of that. I mean, it made me want, do you have any indication that investigators may know that something bad happened here?
They haven't told me anything, and they told people not to search, but I've been searching since that Monday. I can't just sit around and not do anything. I've got to find my son.
Yeah, I understand. I would be doing this.
Just got to go and do something for the dog. So I'm going to put the video back to the beginning for you to watch. I'll be back in a second.
About what may have happened to that boy. We're joined by Seth Rogers, Sebastian's father. Seth, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so sorry for everything you're going through. We want to get the word out about Sebastian. Hasn't gotten enough national attention. Sebastian, I want to be clear, was with his mom and stepdad when he disappeared, but you're very close to Sebastian. Do you have any idea what may have happened here?
I haven't been, I don't know. I mean, I got a phone call and a text message that I received after I got off of work stating that I needed to give the stepfather a call. I called him and he was like, Sebastian's missing. Don't be upset or anything, but you need to come to the house. I don't know what happened to him. I haven't seen him in over a month. I've been out here looking for him.
Seth, I mean, what do they think happened? I mean, could he really have just walked away like that? It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. His shoes are still by the front door. His switch was there. His phone was in the kitchen. It just didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I still can't figure it out. I've been looking everywhere, been handing out flyers, been just trying to keep up hope. And I've reached out to United Cajun Navy to sit there and see if they will help me. And they answered my call.
Yeah, one thing I couldn't understand is why they were telling people not to search at one point. I mean, the shift went to the landfill. It was this investigation, and they're telling people not to search. I couldn't make sense of that. I mean, it made me want, do you have any indication that investigators may know that something bad happened here?
They haven't told me anything, and they told people not to search, but I've been searching since that Monday. I can't just sit around and not do anything. I've got to find my son.
Yeah, I understand. I would be doing the same exact thing as you, and I think everybody around America would be, and their hearts go out to you. Have you talked to Sebastian's mom, stepdad? You mentioned you had that conversation when when they said, he's gone missing, but have they been able to give any more information?
I haven't spoken to them for at least 2 weeks. They're not talking to me.
There are reports that they have packed up an RV and left the house that Sebastian disappeared from. Any idea why they would do that?
I have no idea. I have no information. They weren't talking to me, so.
Oh, the joys of having a dog, isn't it? The joys of being a dog owner when you have to clear up after the dog. Anyway, sorry. So I'm just going to put it back a tiny little bit to where I missed it. Let's go back to there.
Stepdad, you mentioned you had that conversation when they said, he's gone missing, but have they been able to give any more information?
I haven't spoken to them for at least 2 weeks. They're not talking to me.
There are reports that they have packed up an RV and left the house that Sebastian disappeared from. Any idea why they would do that?
I have no idea. I have no information. They weren't talking to me, so I was out here trying to find my son.
Do you feel that they were taking good care of him?
I've got information from podcasts that they were showing that horrify me.
Now, this is where
what do you mean? I mean, were they on podcasts? Or?
This is where it all started, didn't it, with Seth really, what's the word, really throwing out accusations, if you like, at Chris and Katie, which he really shouldn't. And he did go on a lot of YouTube channels and, have things to say about them. But, I do think this something so very odd here to me is who saw Sebastian on the Monday? We won't get to know, and I suppose there's an investigation going on. Why should we, if you like? But of course, we've all been invested in Sebastian's disappearance. We care about what's happened to him. And this now coming out, $50,000 reward, saying that he was last seen on the 26th, which was actually the Monday, near Hendersonville. So they didn't say, at his home or outside his home or, in the town centre. We just sort of throwing out that nugget. It's like it's bound to make people wonder what's going on, isn't it?
Sure. I'm sorry. I know this is upsetting, but I just want to understand.
They were going on podcasts, and it was like, it's supposed to be about Sebastian. They wanted to talk about themselves. I don't get that. We need to get Sebastian's face out to everybody. Have them looking for Sebastian. This isn't about me. It's not about his mom. It's not about his stepdad. This is about Sebastian. He needs to be found.
Have they been searching at all? I mean, I know you're out there right now.
He's getting all up to. I haven't seen this interview. I'm glad I found this because I don't remember seeing this before. But look how upset he's getting, and he's all choked up and emotional. This is about Sebastian, but not anymore. It isn't. Not the way he's been behaving with all these bloody drama and his personally private investigators and Tony the phony and falling out with all the YouTubers that started off helping him. It has become a total shit show, a circus, and a lot of it is because of Seth, unfortunately. So the things he's saying here now, when did it turn from this sort of what seems like a genuine concern of a father to this sort of weird thing that it's all turned into? With all those hiccups along the way, because there's been, so of course they were hating each other in the beginning, but then after that vigil when Seth said that he was going to work together with Chris Proudfoot and anyone who didn't like it could F off, Now, I know that obviously when your child's missing, you do probably say and do terrible things, or not terrible things, but things that people can't understand because you'd be at the end of your tether. The whole thing has been really odd.
Have his mom and stepdad been out there too?
I can't answer that question. I don't know. I haven't seen them, and they've not been where I've been handing out flyers or searching, so I couldn't tell you what they've been doing.
I mean, Seth, I'm glad we have the picture up. He looks like such a nice young man. I mean, would he ever leave barefoot? I know that's something that's perplexed some people, and even people who have children on the autism spectrum have been perplexed by that. Does that make any sense?
It doesn't. It does not make any sense. If he knew he was going to go out walking or anywhere in the yard or whatnot, he would put on socks and shoes. He had a horrible experience as a child with fire ants. He learned it's always socks and shoes, or at least something on your feet to protect you from what's on the ground.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider.
So yeah, very I'm just like a bit sort of speechless, and it takes a lot to make me speechless. But what is going on in this case? What the hell is going on? In a minute, I'm going to try to find the lights, the footage of the lights again, and we'll have another look at that. But where I want to know who saw him on the Monday and where was he? Is this why the police are not, they gave Katie and Chris apparently lie detector tests, which they passed. They've all passed lie detector tests, apparently. Although Seth's, who was that his own mother, said that he fell asleep during the lie detector test and it had to be taken again. But, that's never been officially confirmed. There's such a lack of official confirmation in everything in this case. Anyway, on March the 15th, the TBI released a statement saying there was no evidence of criminal activity and the family were cooperating fully. And the agency also warned people against sharing surveillance video online, noting that it could be misinterpreted. On March the 21st, Seth Rogers organised a search of the Natchez Trace State Park, 100 miles from Sumner County, after a tip suggested that they do so, but nothing was found. United Cajun Navy joins the search. On March the 23rd, the United Cajun Navy joined the search after the end of searches for Riley Strain, a college student who disappeared in Nashville and whose body was found in the Cumberland River. March the 29th, they pulled out of search efforts, citing threats made to volunteers as the reason for suspending operations. Yeah, there was that funny thing with that. Who was that? The guy who was supposed to have taken a gun out or something. He sort of disappeared. He was like, wasn't he one of Seth's helpers? You don't hear him mentioned anymore. Then police continued to seek leads in Sebastian's disappearance. April the 2nd, 2024, investigators confirmed a pair of glasses had been found during the course of the investigation, but could not definitively confirm they belonged to the missing teen. Now, some people said that they thought those glasses had been planted deliberately just to sort of, I don't know, distract, but who would do that and why? And it's interesting there, they say they could not definitively confirm they belonged to the missing teen. But did they definitively confirm they didn't belong to Sebastian? So then that's when the Proudfoots left their home, which I don't blame them, because Chris was going back to work and Katie would have been there on her own. I wouldn't have wanted to be there on my own. Not bearing in mind all the death threats she was getting and that. I mean, obviously you'd want to be there because just in case Sebastian came back. But, you know, she was getting death threats and people were going to the home. So she wouldn't have wanted to be there on her own. Then on April the 17th, Seth hires private investigators to help search for his son. They've now, you know, been sacked or gone or stepped back. May the 7th, remember that? The investigators confirm a teen photographed in North Carolina is not Sebastian Rogers. However, Seth had previously stated he thought the photos were his son. But you remember that? He said straight away, yes, that's my son. But he probably wanted it to be his son. Whereas what caused a lot of suspicion against Chris, wasn't it? That Chris immediately said, no, that's not Sebastian. So, you know, you had Seth saying, yes, that's definitely Sebastian. It wasn't Sebastian in the end. And Chris saying, no, it's definitely not Sebastian. And that caused for more suspicion on Chris because people were saying, well, how did he know? How was he so sure it wasn't him? Anyway, on May the 21st, Seth Rogers called for the nation's top law enforcement agency to take over the investigation. And so that was in May. Where are we now? Well, we're in August. I think they've always been involved, the FBI. I remember reading that the TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, was like hand in glove with the FBI anyway. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems funny that suddenly the FBI, you know, have made this announcement about the reward. You know, the whole thing is just odd, you know. I think Betty's out of jail now, Shyla girl. Betty's out of jail now, I think. Who do you mean by Ernie? Who's Ernie? Sorry, I don't know who Ernie is. Yeah, Sebastian got lost in the case. Chumbra, I'm glad you're moving out of your place because I know you weren't happy there. That's what I'm looking for somewhere else as well. You know, you just can't live next to these neighbours who just can't do it, can you? But anyway, good luck with it all. I thought I was presenting that. Where's it gone? Let me go back on there. So yeah, so by May, it had been nearly 3 months since Sebastian was last seen at his mother and stepfather's home. But he wasn't last seen at his mother and stepfather's home. According to the FBI, he was seen the next day. So the home is just around the corner from where he attended classes at Beach High School in Tennessee. I don't want my son to become a cold case, Seth Rogers said during an appearance on Tuesday on Elizabeth Vargas Reports. The way I'm seeing things now, it'll be a cold case. Is that as far as it goes? Yeah, it just goes as far as that. And then it describes Sebastian. See, they describe him here with sandy blonde hair. That's much nicer than dirty blonde hair, isn't it? Sandy blonde hair. Quite often they seem to use this dirty blonde hair like they have with Madeline Soto, but someone was on the chat yesterday, wasn't they, saying it was common in that part of the world to use it, but I prefer sandy. Anyway, he was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants and glasses, but no shoes. This is, you know, so it was a mystery before. It's even more of a mystery now. But at least now we have got some official, the FBI saying something. Oh, where's that gone? Okay, so I think is there a little video somewhere here? So I am on Tilt-A-Whirl. Sebastian Rogers' father devastated 6 months after the disappearance. Let's play this. I don't know.
266-4149.
My son deserves better.
In Operation Crime and Justice, the father of missing Sumner County teenager Sebastian Rogers sharing his frustration over the lack of answers in the case 6 months after his son's disappearance. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar tonight with a significant update in this case.
Today, the FBI offered a $50,000 reward. It is the latest attempt to solve a case that's gone cold. The missing boy's father tells me he still has hope that his son will be found.
I don't know what's going on, and I'm on a tilt-a-whirl.
Seth Rogers is torn apart. There is still no trace of his 15-year-old son, Sebastian Rogers, who has autism. Investigators say he was last seen on February 26 in the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville.
It's a 15-year-old missing child.
Yeah, do you know, Auntie Ree, I've thought about that. I thought, I don't, obviously, probably what his mum said is all his shoes are accounted for. But would you forget maybe about a pair of shoes that have been just, for a pair of shoes maybe he had in his room that you've forgotten that he had? I was thinking about that, about my son's shoes. I know definitely 2 pairs of trainers that he's got. I'm thinking when he was little, my son, he didn't have loads of pairs of shoes because he had really big feet and it was really difficult to get shoes for him. So, and of course, as they're growing, it's not worth getting a load of pair of shoes because before you know it, they're out of their shoes, aren't they? And Sebastian was 15, still growing, and I expect his shoes only lasted 6 months and then they had to get a different size. So would it maybe he had a favourite pair of shoes that he kept under his bed or in a cupboard, or I've thought that before. I've thought maybe he did have another pair of shoes that his mum's forgotten about. It's not unusual, to forget about how what pairs of shoes someone's got or whatever. And then the other thing, somebody was questioning, did he have socks on? Did he have socks on, or was he completely barefoot? We don't know, do we? And then another person that I follow on X, they were saying, oh, well, were all his socks accounted for? Well, I wouldn't have a clue when my son was young or now or any time how many pairs of socks he had, and whether how do you account for someone's socks? I'm sure there's some people out there who are very precise and orderly, know exactly what socks they've got and what their children have got. But not me. I wouldn't have a clue. If they said to me, are there any socks missing? I'd be like, well, I don't know. Because the other thing is you get these packs of socks, don't you? Sports socks. So they all look the same. And then one always do. You've got like all the socks that disappear into some mystical, universe that God knows what happens to them. You end up with just one. And, so in the end, my son's had to wear like different ones, different colours, because one's disappeared of each colour or whatever. Because again, they grow out of socks, just like they grow out of shoes. So I've quite often wondered that. Do they know for certain that he didn't have trainers on, or is it just, or any type of shoes, or maybe slippers, or is it just that Katie felt like all the shoes, all the footwear his footwear was accounted for, but did he have a pair that she'd forgotten somewhere? And not deliberately. I mean, I think that's quite, not everyone's very precise. If I wouldn't know for certain, I don't think You know, kids have normally got a few pairs of shoes, not maybe loads and loads. But anyway, just a thought. We don't know for certain. We definitely don't know for certain.
He's my son.
His biological mother, Katie Proudfoot, previously told Fox 17 News she last saw her son Sebastian the night before in their Hendersonville home. Sebastian lived with his mother and her husband, Chris Proudfoot. The two did not want to comment. The TBI, who partners with the FBI and the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, told Fox 17 News, quote, "No evidence at this time indicating criminal activity is involved," end quote. Seth tells me the FBI offering a $50,000 reward is
Yeah.
great, but wants more from local law enforcement.
I wish that there was agencies that were emotionally invested to do their job.
Seth has hired a private investigator to continue.
He's wrong what he's saying, you know, because there are missing children, loads of missing children and adults in Tennessee, never mind in the whole of America, never mind in the world. You know, the FBI offering $50,000 reward. They must think, you know, they can lure someone out with that reward. There'll be parents out there looking for their children who think, God, I wish they would offer $50,000 reward for my child, you know, and maybe they'd have a chance of finding my child. I think Seth really sometimes he needs to be a little bit more gracious, you know, at the help the police are making or whatever. And I've got to say that is one thing, Chris Proudfoot, like him or not like him, he did say that. He said, you know, the police have got a lot on their plate. They've got a lot of people to look forward, grateful for any help that they're giving to find Sebastian. That is the cold reality. You know, if your child was missing at the same time, you would want a $50,000 reward from the FBI. So sometimes Seth is not very gracious or accepting of the help. He's constantly criticizing the police. And then he wonders why they don't keep him in the loop.
Continue looking for his son.
I will not fail my son.
I'm about a block away from where Sebastian Rogers was last seen, and since then, there's been no trace of him for 6 months.
Yeah, now they're making this from where I'm about a block away from where Sebastian Rogers was last seen. So notice, she's not saying from his house. You know, he's been seen somewhere. That's why Katie and Chris have not been arrested or whatever, because somebody else has seen him. He's been seen somewhere else. It's very fishy, this whole thing.
The FBI is hoping that $50,000 reward is enough for someone to come forward with information. If you have any information on Rogers' disappearance, you can contact them or you can call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Reporting in Hendersonville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
I'm just going to watch that again.
266-4149.
Very interesting.
My son deserves better.
In Operation Crime and Justice, the father of missing Sumner County teenager Sebastian Rogers sharing his frustration over the lack of answers in the case 6 months after his son's disappearance. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar tonight with a significant update in this case.
Today, the FBI offered a $50,000 reward. It is the latest attempt to solve a case that's gone cold. The missing boy's father tells me he still has hope that his son will be found.
I don't know what's going on, and I'm on a tilt-a-whirl.
Seth Rogers is torn apart. There is still no trace of his 15-year-old son, Sebastian Rogers, who has autism. Investigators say he was last seen on February 26 in the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville.
It's a 15-year-old missing child.
Yeah, he's been seen
He's my son.
somewhere.
His biological mother,
What did
Katie
you just
Proudfoot,
say,
previously
Ben?
told Fox 17 News she Hendersonville.
It's a 15-year-old missing child.
Investigators say he was last seen on February 26 in the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville.
In the area of Stafford Court and Hendersonville. So he has been seen outside of the house. So that's why Katie, you know, I personally, I wouldn't be surprised if Katie is telling the truth. Maybe she's not telling the whole truth. Maybe they had a bit of an altercation. Maybe he ran away. I don't know. But they're saying now he was seen outside the home. So who saw him and what happened to him after that?
It's a 15-year-old missing child. He's my son.
His biological mother, Katie Proudfoot, previously told Fox 17 News she last saw her son Sebastian the night before in their Hendersonville home. Sebastian lived with his mother and her husband, Chris Proudfoot. The two did not want to comment. The TBI, who partners with the FBI and the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, told Fox 17 News, quote, "No evidence at this time indicating criminal activity is involved," end quote. Seth tells me the FBI offering a
Now, they keep saying that about no evidence of criminal activity, but we've seen that before with the police. They did it with Samantha Murphy, didn't they? No evidence of criminal activity until suddenly there was. You know, it's like they're not going to say anything about criminal activity until they actually arrest someone. So, you know, be prepared. It could be tomorrow, could be tonight, could be any time that suddenly they might turn around and say, oh, actually, there was criminal activity. Somebody's seen this boy, maybe seen him get in a car or something.
$50,000 reward is great, but wants more from local law enforcement.
I wish that there was agencies that were emotionally invested to do their job.
Seth has hired a private investigator to continue looking for his son.
I will not fail my son.
I'm about a block away from where Sebastian Rogers was last seen. And since then, there's been no trace of him for 6 months. The FBI is hoping that that $50,000 reward is enough.
Well, they've said he was seen outside the house. They've said that the following day. They've just literally said where he was seen. So there's so much going to come out here, I think.
For someone to come forward with information, if you have any information on Rogers' disappearance, you can contact them or you can call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Reporting in Hendersonville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Okay.
It's really going to impact our lower income.
Right. Right. Hang on. Okay, so let's have a look see if I can find those lights. Because there was the thing about these lights that has caused so much speculation. You know, people have, come up with I've seen all sorts on YouTube channels about the lights. Personally, I can't see anything, but I'm sure the police have, identified exactly what those lights are. Also, Tony Mathis, he said specifically in that interview in the video that Seth made on his own YouTube channel, Tony Mathis said, and we don't think those lights were a rubbish truck, do we, Seth? And Seth sort of tried to keep away from the subject. But Tony virtually did say, he doesn't believe it was a rubbish truck. Let's have a look at them. Okay, right, let me just share it.
Days. An exclusive look at new video evidence. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Rory Johnson.
And I'm Hunter Hoagland. A lot to get to here tonight. Authorities have scrutinized home security video from that Hendersonville neighborhood, trying to learn what happened to that teen with autism.
Now you can take a look for yourself. Our Nick Barris obtained video that appears to show 2 people near Sebastian's home the night his parents say he disappeared.
The video you're about to see is from early Monday morning, February 26th, around 3:10 a.m. Now, there are no street lights in the Stafford Court neighborhood, so it is at night, pitch black. What you will see here are these 2 points of light believed to be people with flashlights in the area around Sebastian Rogers' Hendersonville home. It is believed Sebastian left his home barefoot and with a flashlight sometime overnight. Since his disappearance, authorities have reviewed security video from homes in the neighborhood looking for clues.
We have had several clips that have come in.
And this one is getting the most attention, showing signs of activity around Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. You see 2 light sources, which we've circled to.
Yeah, so you've got. Now, I'm no good with videos and technical things. I can't, I can't do. Some people sort of make it, blow it up, make it big, blah, 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 blah. I can't do that. So we're just going to have to look at it as it is.
Help you follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointed toward the back of Sebastian's home in a common area. In the video, you see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the.
Yeah, I don't understand where that one came from. How did it appear out of nowhere?
First, before that light source is covered or obscured. Subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that light source is covered or obscured by bushes. Subject 1 a few seconds later then moves out of frame. Then subject 2 reappears and follows subject 1 off screen. It's a short time later and it's very vague, but then you see one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area, and that is it. I know, there's not much to see here.
What do we think of that then? It does look like a torch, and of course, Sebastian took a flashlight with him. Now, if he took a flashlight with him, it suggests it was dark when he went. If he went somewhere, was it dark in the morning? Did he go somewhere? Did he arrange to meet somebody? Or was he just throwing out the trash? Because apparently he did go to put the trash out. I've heard people say, and again, this is just total speculation, that the rubbish truck ran him over, and then took him with them. Sorry, I'm laughing as I say it. It's not funny. It's a possibility. It's just as possible as anything else. We just don't know. But are these torches? The police say no. But of course they could be lying. Because they just don't want to say. They could know. Maybe they know exactly what those lights are, but they just don't want to say. Let's just have another look.
Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. You see 2 light sources, which we've circled to help you follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointed toward the back of Sebastian's home in a common area. In the video, you see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that light source is covered or obscured by bushes. Subject 1 a few seconds later then moves out of frame. Then subject 2 reappears and follows subject 1 off screen. It's a short time later and it's very vague, but then you see one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area, and that is it. I know, there's not much to see here. You certainly cannot identify anyone, but those close to the investigation tell me the mere fact that there is now evidence that someone is in the area around Sebastian's home is significant. This video shows suspicious activity in the immediate area the night Sebastian disappeared. Could one of these subjects have been Sebastian? Did he meet and leave with someone? Sebastian's father says his son would not go with a stranger.
It's up in the air for me because I don't think he would get into a vehicle with somebody unless he knew them.
So what exactly are we seeing here? I know investigators are doing what they can to try enhancing the video for any more clues. For now, this video is now part of the Sebastian Rogers missing person file, and I'm told it could become more significant depending on where the ongoing investigation leads.
Now, why did the police even leak that? Because they've given it to this journalist, Nick Beres. They've given it to him for a reason. They want people to see it. The police, they drip feed information like that for a reason. They haven't, they haven't kept it to themselves. They've sort of almost like put it out there publicly for everybody to speculate about. They didn't have to release that at all, did they? But they've released it wanting him to publicize it, I suppose.
We'll be following that. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Thanks, Nick. Of course, the search for Sebastian continues, with detectives now looking into any possibility of foul play. If you think you can help, call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
So that's cool. I'm not. Sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, that's where we are. That's where we are. I think this is a significant development. I don't know what it means, with the FBI putting out this $50,000 reward, going from absolute zero to suddenly $50,000 reward. They've got their reasons for doing that. Maybe they're hoping, maybe they do think that Sebastian is still alive. He's been taken somewhere. I hope they're right. I hope to God that he is okay somewhere, being looked after by someone for whatever reason. So it's obviously it's not a kidnapping for money, because there's been no money ransom no ransom been demanded. But it could be, I suppose, like a Shannon Matthews type case. If for any of you who don't know about Shannon Matthews, she was a little girl in the UK that disappeared, and it turned out a friend of was it her uncle or something, was hiding her in his flat, and they were just trying to get money. They did I don't know if it was a GoFundMe, if they had GoFundMes then, but they'd seen what had happened with the Madeleine McCann case, where the McCanns ended up pretty wealthy through the donations that people had given to No Stone Unturned, the fund to search for Madeleine McCann. And they'd come up with this plot, decided they were going to have a bit of that, and they deliberately hid Shannon Matthews, a little girl, hid her in her uncle's flat in a bed. She was in one of those beds that lift up or drawers pull out or whatever. So it could be a similar case to that, couldn't it? Maybe somebody's taken Sebastian and they're just trying to raise money. It's the police were upset. Yeah, maybe they were upset, but Nick Barris is not going to release that clip, thinking that the police might, arrest him or whatever. He has his sources. What I've been following Nick Barris on Facebook, etc. He only ever releases anything that the police, and he say that he can release. And he also poo-poos like any false information quite quickly. But yeah, maybe he did. But let's put it this way. So let's imagine somebody sent me some footage, to do with Sebastian's case or whatever. The police have said not to put this out on air. Well, I don't know if you would do it. Would you risk? He's risking his job. I'd be risking my channel. So I don't know. Anyway, so to me, the most important thing that's come out of that, offering that massive reward, but also the fact that they're saying he was last seen on the Monday, not on the Sunday. So I want to know who saw him. Who saw him on the Monday, and where did they see him? Why are the FBI saying he was last seen outside the home? That's what they're saying. Well, let's hope this reward, does you know, encourage somebody to come forward. I mean, that's a big reward, $50,000, isn't it? It's rare that you get a reward as big as that. So they must think it's going to work, offering that reward. Yeah, the thing, that's it. You know, I'll tell you something. If anything ever happened in my house, like where I was accused of something, my neighbours had been, not all my neighbours. I mean, I live on the street, you know, but there's about 3 neighbours. They're all pals and they're always out there like pain in the arse. They would be on there saying, "Oh well, yeah, she did this and she did that." For everyone that you get, you know, everyone, I suppose. You know, you'll get some neighbours that think you're great, and there'll be other neighbours who think, you know, you're awful. And to me, Chris is not a guy. He doesn't care what people think of him, first and foremost. So that wouldn't endear him to a lot of people. You know, he is a bit of a, I don't know, whatever. I'm sure he's maybe had disputes with some of the neighbours. I don't know those neighbours. You know, you know what it's like. Some people will like you and some people won't like you. So you could talk to you. I could go and talk to somebody who knew any of you on here, and if I spoke probably to 10 people, there'd be, most of them would be saying, "Oh yeah, they're a great person," or whatever. But there'd be one at least who'd be saying, "Oh no, they're this, that, or the other," because you're bound to, you know, neighbours have these problems, don't they? Yeah, but they said, Shelley, that he'd been seen outside the home. They said that we listened to it. If you listen to it there, what the girl said, the woman reporter, it wasn't at the home that he had been seen. But so he's been seen, basically, Katie saw him when he went to bed. That was well before 12. So if he's been seen after 12, at any time on that Monday, it's not by Katie. Unless, you know, she did see him again. Maybe there may be things that the police has said for her not to talk about. They did say that, to be fair, the Proudfoots, that, you know, they answer. That's why, you know, there's certain things they can say and certain things they can't say. So we'll see. Yeah. Well, time will tell, won't it? So hopefully this development means it's going to be resolved sooner rather than later. I certainly hope so. Certainly hope certainly hope it'll be solved sooner rather than later. Sorry, I'm waffling on a bit now. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to start taking notice of this case again now, because I feel like there's some proper developments, not just he said, she said. You know, the guy that works at the end of the road's friend's cousin's mother's wife said. No, so I don't like all that. I like to know what the official, you know, what's officially being said. And I feel like this is a bit of a development. So we'll see what transpires. So anyway, thank you so much for being here with me. Now, tonight is Carry On Chatting Members Live. If you want to take part, please think about joining. And if not, I'll see you at some other time. I'm sure that probably tomorrow. And take care. I'll see you really soon in the next video. Prayers that Sebastian is safe and well somewhere. And until I see you again, as always, may your God go with you. Bye.